Alrighty. So again, thanks. My name is Dave Barnett, and I'm one of the support representatives for ControlPoint. And we're putting together this session of our quick takes to cover creating custom menus with ControlPoint. Now, there's a couple of reasons you may want to set this up. The feature was originally introduced to support some of your end users having kind of a reduced interface to the ControlPoint UI. This feature will essentially give you the ability to hide or select only the reports or actions that your users should have access to. So you may not want them to have the full gambit of ControlPoint features available for one reason or another, or maybe just to make things more simple for your users. I'll go ahead and answer any questions that come up over the process here at the end of the session. So feel free to write them down and enter them in the webinar information, and I will go through those at the end, and we can sort out any issues. And you can also follow up the webinar with any more detailed questions or for help kind of setting this up in your own environment if you're stuck with our support channels by emailing us at email_support@metalogics.com. So instead of wasting any more time, we'll go ahead and jump right in. So to start, creating custom menus basically will only take a couple of quick steps to get configured. So first, we are going to go to the ControlPoint configuration site and create a new security group in addition to the existing groups that are used to give the user access to ControlPoint. Once we've created that custom or new security group, then we'll go through and using the ControlPoint user interface, we'll create the custom menu itself. These are scoped at the level that the report will be run. So you'll need to make a unique menu for the list level, web level, site collection level, web application level. So you may need to make a few depending on how you'd like things to be set up in your environment. But we'll take a look at that as we go through the process shortly. Once you've created your custom menu, it'll be saved as an XML file, and it'll be placed on that configuration site for ControlPoint. The way that we trigger your users to only see some of these menu options is by breaking inheritance on these list items. You'll make sure that your security group only has access to the custom menus we've created and does not have access to the standard menus that are in place out of box with ControlPoint. Similarly, you'll want to make sure that your standard users do not have access to these custom menus because in some cases that can cause a little bit of duplication in the reports that are available through the UI. I won't interrupt performance, but sometimes it'll be a little less pleasant to look at. So we'll jump right in. I have my server available for us here. And as you see, we're right on the ControlPoint landing page. So as I mentioned, our first step is to go to the ControlPoint configuration site. And you can get there either by going to the Manage tab and then navigating down to the ControlPoint configuration site and clicking that link. Similarly, you can also jump there by just navigating right to the root site of your application. Just make sure everything's still working good. Cool. So once you're on your site here, you'll just add a security group through your normal site settings, just as you would for any other SharePoint site. And as you'll see on this ControlPoint site, we have our default groups, the admins, business admins, application admins, and our remote service account administrators groups already in place. Now to save time, I've added a permissions audit team group. This is completely custom. The name can be anything you need as long as it makes sense for your environment. I've given this group read access to this site collection. So we'll be able to log into ControlPoint, and I've assigned one user, myself, in here just for our demo purpose. That will only have access via this group to this site. So once we've created our group and we added our users, then we'll navigate back to ControlPoint itself. From here, we have the menu maintenance user interface option here. So selecting menu maintenance will pull up our menu maintenance page. And on this page, you'll see I have my saved custom menu already created. You can create new ones or manage your existing custom menus right through this interface. It's set up to be as user-friendly as we can make it. So you'll find to create a new one. So just to double back, I've got my existing menu here. And this is a web scoped menu. So what that means is I've already gone through and told ControlPoint that I would like to create a custom menu that only shows me 3 site permission reports. So my user in my security group is only going to have access to these reports and only at the web level in ControlPoint. And just to clarify, we have the farm scope, so reports that you would run against the entire farm, your web application scope, site collection scope, site or web level, list level reports, and user reports. So there's several different scopes that you can kick off a report, and we need to make a custom menu for each one of these that you'd like to trigger. Now, if your user doesn't have access to any custom menus for that scope, they just simply won't have any reports available there. So for this web scope report, again, I've made it accessible for 3 different report types. So let's say I wanted to add the ability to do those same reports at the list level, in addition to doing it at the web level for my user. So to do that, we'll open up a new custom menu, and we'll call this my auditor menu for list level custom menu for auditors. And then we'll pick a target menu. The target menu, just as I said, this is the scope existing menus that exist. Sorry, the out-of-box menus. So you pick the one that would correspond with the items you'd want to add. So in this case, we're looking to add menu items for the list level for my user. So I'll select the list actions, hit insert. This will create a new blank XML that'll be customized by our next process here. So here we'll pick a file to start from, and we'll use the English version. There's also French and I believe German, and you can see my other custom menu that I've added here. But we'll go with the standard out-of-box list actions XML as our source. Here's our destination. Just clear that. And let's say I was looking to add a couple of permissions reports. So I'll scroll through the entire list of available options. I could add actions if I wanted to. But again, for this one, we just want to add a permission report. So we have permissions by list item. And if I wanted to add 2 items, I could also go ahead and let's say I just wanted to add a action here as well. Hold down Control and multi-select as many items as you need to add. And we just click Add. Oop. That gave me a little hiccup there, I guess. We'll add our folder first. There we go. That looks a little better. So we've created a new users and security menu on the list level to give us 2 actions. So with that, I can save what we've done so far. And we have a new basic menu. Now, we've created our menu. So that's our second step. So the part where most people get a little hung up on this, and the main reason we wanted to do a quick take event for this, is just in the explanation of how access is granted to this after the fact. So to show you that briefly, we jump back to our configuration site, and what we'll see here is we have an Acceler menus option on this root site. And here you'll see my 2 custom lists have been added, along with, my XML files, along with all of the existing default menus. So we have our 2 here. Now, your standard menu, let's look at the farm scoped actions. Oops. Is shared with or has permissions available for all of our standard groups. So there's our standard ControlPoint groups. Now to save us some time, I went through and I broke permissions on all of the list items in this environment, made sure that they had access to our core groups, and I removed our special security group from all of these items. You can do that just through SharePoint, or you can do it through ControlPoint, depending on if you're comfortable with those actions, to save you some time. And then we'll look at, let me pull this back up, we'll look at my web item that I've already customized. And check out permissions here. Permissions here, unique permissions again, and my permissions audit team is the only group with access to this custom menu. And you'll effectively want to just do the same thing with the new menu that you've created. So since I've already done most of the legwork of breaking inheritance everywhere and then reassigning it, this one I should be able to do fairly straightforward right through the SharePoint AI. So here we want to just make sure that we remove any these users that break permissions first. Then we'll go ahead and remove all of the users that are not our security group. Great, so now that looks just the same as our other menu, and that should be all set. So again, back to ControlPoint, I'm logged in with our service account. This has access to the standard menu option, so we have a large number of items available at the list, and similarly at the web level, we have a large number of items available here as well. So what I'll do next is go ahead and sign in with my user, D. Barnett, who is located in our security group. And this will render, because I have read access, the same permission, the same ControlPoint user interface initially. This will security trim my user to only show content I have available in SharePoint individually. So this user is only a site collection admin for one site collection, this capacitor site, so that everything else is hidden automatically. And we can expand out and see the whole hierarchy is available still because I have permission there. But if I wanted to run a report at the web application level, I can right-click on these and nothing. I don't have any web-scoped menus. I can right-click at the site collection level and nothing. And if I right-click at the web level, I have my 3 custom web options available here, and that's it. And I've added lists, so this is the part we do live. Hopefully it'll work properly. There we go. So I'll have my 2 list items that I just added for us available here. And you can go right from this pane and run all of these actions normally. Just as if you had them on any other view, there'll be no kind of impact there. And that's it. Right now, this is configured, set up, and ready to go for my user. Again, the read access on the site itself, and read access is fine for the custom menu that I've added. And again, those custom menus, as we saw, oh, look at that. I didn't add a manage menu option for this user either, so those are also hidden. So that makes it even more secure. Alrighty, so that in general though will cover the majority of the process. And again, just to reiterate, we created our new security group. We created our custom menu in ControlPoint. We went through and broke inheritance for all of the menus that were already in SharePoint, all the standard menus and the new ones we've made. And then we assigned out permission for our security group only to the new menus, the new XML files that we added to that configuration site. And we removed these menus from our standard user permissions to make sure that they don't show up in those other users' menu items. So that essentially covers the standard way to create a custom menu to give access for users in ControlPoint.